Hello. Welcome back to part 3 of God's Covenant with Israel.
I am making this covenant with its oath, not only with you who are standing here with us today in the presence of the Lord our God, but also with those who are not here today. You yourselves know how we lived in Egypt and how we passed through the countries on the way here. You saw among them their detestable images and idols of wood and stone and silver and gold. Make sure there is no man or woman, clan or tribe among you today whose heart turns away from the Lord our God to go and worship the gods of those nations. Make sure there is no root among you that produces such bitter poison. When such a person hears the words of this oath, they invoke a blessing on themselves, thinking, I will be safe. Even though I persist in going my own way, they will bring disaster on the watered land as well as the dry. The Lord will never be willing to forgive them. His wrath and zeal will burn against them. All the curses written in this book will fall on them, and the Lord will blot out their names from under heaven. The Lord will single them out from all tribes of Israel for disaster, according to all the curses of the covenant written in the book of the law. Your children who follow you in later generations and foreigners who come from distant lands will see the calamities that have fallen on the land and the diseases which the Lord has afflicted it. The whole land will be a burning waste and salt and sulfur, nothing planted, nothing sprouted, no vegetation growing on it. It'll be like the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in fierce anger. All the nations will ask, why has the Lord done this to this land? Why this fierce, burning anger? A reading from Deuteronomy chapter 29, verses 14 through 24. Everyone have a blessed day.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another enriching Bible study session. Today I'm diving deep into Deuteronomy 29, 14, 24 to understand God's covenant with Israel. So let's set the scene. The Israelites are standing on the brink of the promised land, and Moses is delivering one of his final addresses. He reminds them of the covenant, a sacred promise God made not just with those present, but with future generations too. Now, why is this significant? Think about it. This covenant isn't confined to a specific time or group. It's a timeless bond, a commitment that transcends generations. Moses emphasizes that everyone must guard their hearts against turning away from God. Why? Because idolatry leads to spiritual decay. Let's reflect on verse 18 for a moment. Make sure there is no man or woman, clan or tribe among you today whose heart turns away from the Lord our God to go and worship the gods of those nations. This is a stark warning. It's easy to be swayed by the allure of false gods, but it's a path that leads to bitterness and destruction. Then, in verses 19-20, Moses talks about the consequences of disobedience. When such a person hears the words of this oath and they invoke a blessing on themselves, thinking, I will be safe even though I persist in going my own way, they will bring disaster on the watered land as well as the dry. Here, Moses is emphasizing that self-deception is dangerous. Thinking we can go our own way and still be blessed is a recipe for disaster. God's wrath is described vividly. His anger will burn against those who abandon him. This isn't just a physical destruction, it's spiritual devastation. The land will become a wasteland, mirroring the spiritual desolation of the people. Finally, verses 22-24 paint a bleak picture of the future if the covenant is broken. Your children who follow you in later generations, and foreigners who come from distant lands, we'll see the calamities that have fallen on the land and the diseases with which the Lord has afflicted it. This serves as a sobering reminder. The impact of our actions ripples through generations. So, what's the takeaway? God's covenant is a precious gift, but it comes with responsibilities. It calls for unwavering faith and obedience. It's a reminder to keep our hearts aligned with God, avoiding the temptations that lead us astray. As you reflect on these verses, I encourage you to think about your own covenant with God. How are you maintaining it? How are you ensuring that your heart remains steadfast? Remember, God's promises are eternal, and so is His love. Thanks for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more of the gospel. Until next time, stay blessed.